Imagine waking up one day and looking into the mirror, only to see someone you no longer recognize. The face staring back is a stranger, shaped by years of past experiences, beliefs, and memories. But what if this disconnection, this realization that you are not who you truly are, is the key to unlocking a new reality? What if this moment is the beginning of a profound transformation, where timelines collapse and new possibilities emerge? This isn't just about changing your thoughts, it's about changing your identity and the very fabric of your reality. Imagine waking up one morning, looking at your reflection, and realizing that the person staring back at you is not who you truly are. It's an image shaped by the past, molded by the experiences and beliefs you've accumulated over the years. You feel disconnected, as if the person you see is a distant version of who you've always known yourself to be. What if I told you that this moment, the one where you suddenly recognize the gap between who you are and who you can become, is the very key to collapsing timelines and unlocking new realities? We are often taught that transformation is a gradual process, something that happens over time through consistent effort. But what if that's only part of the story? What if the most powerful shifts in your life could happen instantly, not through a long series of actions, but through a profound shift in your identity? This concept is not just theoretical, it's rooted in quantum physics and spiritual truths that have been long known to those who have walked the path of personal transformation. Think about your current life. All the decisions you've made, all the paths you've taken, have been influenced by the identity you hold, your self-image. This identity has been constructed by years of experiences, thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. But here's the truth, it doesn't have to stay this way. Your current identity is not your destiny. It's simply a pattern, a collection of thoughts and beliefs that have, until now, been running the show. At this very moment, you hold the power to collapse everything you've known about yourself and your reality. The shift in your identity, who you believe yourself to be, can literally change the timeline you are living on. This isn't some abstract concept, it's a very real process. It's a shift in consciousness, a shift in perspective that opens up entirely new possibilities for your life. It's a choice to step out of one timeline, one version of your reality, and into another. The moment you make that decision, your world begins to shift. But before you can fully grasp the magnitude of this transformation, let's explore how your identity has shaped your life up to this point. We are all constantly interacting with the world through the lens of our identity. Everything we perceive, every action we take, and every decision we make is filtered through the beliefs and thoughts we hold about ourselves. If you believe you are unworthy, you'll notice evidence in your life that reinforces that belief. If you believe you are capable, powerful, and deserving, you will begin to see opportunities that align with that belief. Your identity is like a set of glasses you wear, distorting the way you see the world. But here's the catch, you can change those glasses at any time. You can choose a new identity, one that aligns with the version of yourself you desire to become. And once you make this shift, everything around you begins to respond. People treat you differently, opportunities present themselves, and you begin to see the world in a way you never thought possible. This is where quantum physics enters the picture. According to quantum theory, all possibilities exist simultaneously in a vast sea of potential outcomes. Imagine every possible version of your life existing as a separate timeline, running parallel to the one you're currently experiencing. In each timeline, you are living a different version of your life, based on the choices you make and the identity you hold. The moment you change your identity, you collapse one timeline and step into another. This is not science fiction, it's how the universe operates. The timeline you are currently living on is the result of your current beliefs and identity. But as soon as you change your self-concept, who you believe yourself to be, you shift into a new timeline where a different version of you exists. This shift is not just a mental exercise, it's a powerful, energetic transformation that ripples throughout your life. It's like a door opening to a new reality, one where the old constraints no longer apply. So, what does it take to make this shift? The first step is awareness. You must become conscious of your current identity and how it's limiting you. Pay attention to the thoughts that run through your mind, the beliefs you hold about yourself, and the patterns that show up in your life. These are the clues to your current identity. Perhaps you see yourself as someone who is stuck in a job they don't enjoy, someone who struggles with relationships, or someone who constantly faces financial challenges. Whatever your identity has been up until now, recognize that it is not fixed. It is simply a story you have been telling yourself. Once you become aware of the stories you've been living by, you can begin to rewrite them. You can choose to adopt a new identity, one that aligns with the version of yourself you desire to be. This is where the real magic happens. When you make the conscious decision to change your identity, you start to feel the shift within you. You begin to think differently, act differently, and see the world differently. The key is to step into the feeling of this new identity as if it's already real. Imagine for a moment that you are already the person you wish to become. How does it feel? What does your life look like? How do you walk, talk, and interact with others? The more vividly you can imagine and embody this new identity, the faster the universe begins to align with it. This is the quantum process at work. You are shifting your consciousness to match the frequency of your new reality. At first, this shift may feel uncomfortable. You may doubt yourself or feel like an imposter. But understand this: transformation is rarely comfortable. Growth happens when we step outside of our comfort zone and challenge our old ways of thinking and being. The discomfort you feel is simply a sign that you are breaking free from the old identity and stepping into something new. Now, the important thing to realize is that this shift is not just about changing your thoughts. It's about embodying the new identity. It's about becoming the person who aligns with the reality you want to create. This means taking actions that reflect your new identity. If your old identity saw you as someone who was always stuck in a dead-end job, the new identity must take steps to align with a career that fulfills you. If your old identity was one of scarcity, your new identity must make decisions based on abundance and possibility. As you embody this new identity, you will begin to notice shifts in your external reality. People will start to treat you differently. Opportunities will arise that align with your new identity. You will begin to see evidence of your new reality in the world around you. This is the universe responding to your shift in consciousness. Your timeline is collapsing and a new one is forming in its place. The beauty of this process is that it is available to everyone. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment or the right set of circumstances. All it takes is a decision. The moment you choose to step into a new identity, your reality begins to shift. You are no longer bound by the limitations of your past self. You are free to create the life you've always dreamed of. So what will it be? Will you continue to live as the person you've always been, locked in the same timeline? Or will you make the decision to shift your identity and collapse into a new, limitless reality? The choice is yours. The power is already within you. The concept of identity is not just about how you see yourself in the mirror, it's far deeper than that. Your identity is the blueprint for your entire reality. It's the lens through which you experience the world, and it holds the power to either expand or limit the life you lead. To understand how an identity shift works, we need to dive into the science of it, the metaphysical and quantum principles that reveal how your identity affects the reality you experience. At the core of this understanding is the idea that reality is not a fixed, solid structure. In fact, according to quantum physics, the universe is made up of energy, constantly shifting and vibrating at different frequencies. What you perceive as real is only one possibility among infinite others. Every decision you make, every thought you entertain, and every belief you hold sends out energetic ripples into the universe, affecting the world around you. This idea is fundamental to the notion of timelines, the idea that every moment presents you with multiple possibilities, and the path you take depends entirely on the identity you claim. Think of the universe as a vast ocean of potential, with each potential reality existing simultaneously. Picture it as an intricate web of interwoven threads, each representing a different version of you and your life. These threads are not separate, they coexist, and you have the power to navigate between them. Every choice you make, whether conscious or unconscious, pulls you down a particular thread, a timeline. And the version of you that exists within each of those timelines is shaped by your beliefs, self-image, and identity. Now here's where it gets interesting. The timeline you're currently living in, the one that's unfolding before you right now, is a direct result of the identity you have been living out. If you identify as someone who is constantly struggling with money, for instance, you will find yourself in a timeline where financial challenges are a recurring theme. If you see yourself as someone who is always stuck in toxic relationships, your reality will mirror that belief. Essentially, the self you are right now has created the reality you are experiencing. The good news is, the moment you change your identity, the timeline you are on starts to collapse. It's not just a mental shift, it's a quantum shift. This is where things start to get exciting. According to quantum physics, everything is in a constant state of flux. Energy can never be destroyed, only transformed. In other words, the energy you are emitting, the energy of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, creates the fabric of your reality. The key to shifting your reality lies in shifting that energy. When you begin to embody a new identity, one that is aligned with the version of yourself you want to become, the very fabric of your reality starts to change. The frequency you emit shifts, and as a result, you begin to attract circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with this new frequency. It's like tuning a radio to a different station. The moment you adjust the dial, you're no longer tuned into the same channel. You enter a new station, a new reality where the possibilities are limitless. But how does this process happen? How can something as intangible as your identity affect the very structure of your reality? The answer lies in the idea of quantum superposition. In quantum physics, superposition refers to the principle that particles can exist in multiple states at once, simultaneously existing in different locations, energies, or conditions until they are observed. In a way, your identity works the same way. Your true potential exists in all its possibilities all at once. You are not limited to one version of yourself. You can choose to step into the identity that aligns with the version of your life you desire to experience. This is where the concept of timeline collapse comes into play. When you shift your identity, you are choosing a new state of being, a new reality. The version of you that existed before, stuck in patterns, limiting beliefs, and unhelpful habits, starts to fade into the background. The new you, aligned with higher truth and possibility, takes its place. And as your identity shifts, your reality begins to reflect this change. The people around you, the opportunities that arise, and the experiences you encounter all begin to mirror your new identity. At this point, you might be wondering, how do you align your identity with the new version of yourself you wish to become? This is where the real magic happens. It's not just about wishing or hoping for a new life. It's about actively embodying the identity of the person who already has what you desire. This is where quantum manifestation and the law of attraction come into play. When you change your internal state, the external world has no choice but to respond in kind. To make this shift, you must first become aware of the limiting beliefs that are keeping you in your current timeline. These beliefs are the glue that holds your identity and your reality together. They are often unconscious, shaped by childhood experiences, past trauma, societal conditioning, and your environment. For instance, you may have grown up believing that money is scarce or that success is reserved for only a select few. These beliefs form the foundation of your current identity, and as long as you hold on to them, you will remain in the corresponding reality. The first step in collapsing these timelines is to become aware of these limiting beliefs. Start by paying attention to your thoughts, particularly the ones that keep you feeling stuck or unworthy. These thoughts are clues to your current identity. Once you've identified these beliefs, the next step is to release them. You can do this through a combination of conscious awareness, meditation, affirmations, and energy work. The goal is to weaken the grip of these old beliefs so that they no longer define you. As you begin to release these limiting beliefs, you can start to embody a new identity, one that is aligned with the version of yourself you want to become. This means imagining, feeling, and acting as if you are already that person. If you want to be someone who is confident and successful, start acting as if you already are. This doesn't mean faking it or pretending to be someone you're not. It means shifting your energy to match the frequency of the person you want to become. This is the key to collapsing timelines. Embodiment. Your identity is not just a mental construct. It's an energetic vibration. When you align your energy with the version of yourself you want to become, the universe begins to reflect that energy back to you. Opportunities, people, and experiences will start to appear in your life that are in harmony with your new identity. Your timeline is collapsing, and you are shifting into a new reality. The more you embody your new identity, the more this reality solidifies. Your old identity, with all its limitations and fears, begins to dissolve. You no longer feel trapped by your past, and the constraints of your former self are no longer relevant. Instead, you step into a new timeline, one where anything is possible. The shift may not be immediate, and it may take time for the full effects to manifest, but the moment you decide to change your identity, the wheels are set in motion. As you continue this process, the quantum shifts in your life will become more apparent. You will begin to notice synchronicities, people showing up at just the right time, and doors opening that you never expected. This is the result of your identity shift. Your new timeline is unfolding, and you are stepping into a life that aligns with your highest potential. The key is to remain consistent in your embodiment of this new identity and trust that the universe is responding to the frequency you are sending out. In the end, the most profound realization is that you are not bound by your past. You are not stuck in a fixed timeline. The moment you decide to shift your identity, you are stepping into a new reality, one that is shaped by your deepest desires, your highest aspirations, and your true potential. The power has always been within you, it's just a matter of choosing to claim it. And the moment you do, everything changes. Imagine for a moment the old version of you, the person who has been navigating through life with all the familiar patterns, beliefs, and habits that you've accumulated over the years. This version of you may have been shaped by the stories you've told yourself, by the circumstances you were born into, and by the external influences that you've absorbed from the world around you. But deep down, there's something within you that feels like it's just not quite aligned. You're stuck in a loop, feeling like you're always taking one step forward and two steps back, as if your external reality is constantly reflecting an internal disconnect. This is where the concept of the old self versus the new self comes into play. The old self is everything you've known up until now, your limitations, your fears, your past trauma, and your conditioned responses to the world. This version of you holds tightly to what it believes is possible, often operating from a place of fear, scarcity, and self-doubt. It might even convince you that this is all there is, that you are destined to live within the boundaries of your current circumstances. But the truth is, this version of you is simply one interpretation of reality. It's not fixed. It's not permanent. And most importantly, it's not the only version of you available. The new self, on the other hand, represents the next level of your being, the person who has already made the shift, the version of you who operates from a place of alignment, purpose, and possibility. This self is not burdened by the weight of old stories or limiting beliefs. It doesn't operate from fear, but from a deep sense of knowing that everything it desires is already within reach. The new self sees the world not as a series of obstacles to overcome, but as an open field of opportunities, waiting to be claimed. It operates from a place of confidence, of clarity, and of deep inner peace. Now, you may be wondering, how do you bridge the gap between the old self and the new self? How do you leave behind the person you've always known in favor of someone who feels so different, so unknown? This process begins with a radical shift in consciousness. It's not something that happens overnight, but rather, it's a process of deconstructing the old self and consciously choosing to step into the new version of you. The first step in this journey is recognizing that the old self, the version of you that feels stuck, limited, and disconnected, has been formed by a series of unconscious beliefs and patterns. These beliefs are not your truth. They are simply ideas that you have internalized over time. Perhaps you were told at some point in your life that you weren't good enough, that you didn't deserve success, or that you were destined for mediocrity. These beliefs became part of your identity, and as a result, they shaped your reality. But the key here is this: these beliefs are not who you are. They are simply mental programs that you have been running on autopilot, without even realizing it. The moment you become aware of these old beliefs, you take the first step toward shifting your identity. Awareness is the catalyst for transformation. When you start to observe the thoughts and beliefs that arise in your mind, you begin to realize that you have been operating from a false narrative. These limiting beliefs are not universal truths, they are simply stories that you've accepted as your reality. And once you see them for what they are, you can begin to rewrite the script. The next step in the process is to begin embodying the qualities of your new self. This is where the real transformation happens. It's not enough to simply think differently, you must also act differently. If you've spent your life playing small, hiding from your potential, and letting fear guide your decisions, the new version of you will require you to show up in a completely different way. You can't continue to make decisions based on the old identity and expect to experience a new reality. The shift requires you to step into the shoes of the person you want to become, even if it feels unfamiliar at first. For instance, let's say your old self is someone who plays small when it comes to opportunities. You've spent years telling yourself that you're not ready or that you're not worthy of success. But your new self is someone who steps boldly into opportunities, someone who recognizes their worth and goes after what they want without hesitation. To begin embodying this new self, you must start making decisions from that place of confidence and self-worth. You must take risks, push through fear, and allow yourself to be seen and heard in ways you've never allowed before. This process of embodying the new self can feel uncomfortable, even unsettling. You may experience doubt or resistance, and that's completely normal. The old self, the version of you that has been holding on to fear and limiting beliefs, will fight against the change. It will try to convince you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, or that things won't work out. But this is the moment where the shift happens. The discomfort you feel is simply your old self resisting the change, holding on to the familiar. But you are stronger than that. The new self is calling you forward, and it requires you to step out of your comfort zone. One of the most powerful ways to embody your new self is through visualization. This is a technique that allows you to vividly imagine yourself as the person you want to become. Close your eyes and see yourself living your ideal life, experiencing the success, the love, the abundance, and the freedom that you desire. Feel the emotions of that reality as if they are happening right now. What does it feel like to be the person who has already achieved your dreams? How does it feel to be fully aligned with your highest self? As you visualize, make it as real as possible. Engage all of your senses. Hear the sounds, see the colors, feel the textures. Immerse yourself in the emotions of this new reality. The more you do this, the more your subconscious mind will begin to accept this new identity as truth. The brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined, so when you repeatedly visualize your new self, you are essentially rewiring your mind to align with that reality. This process is not just about changing your thoughts, it's about changing your energy. When you embody the new self, you are sending out a different vibration into the universe. The energy you emit is magnetic, attracting people, circumstances, and opportunities that align with your new identity. You'll begin to notice that things start to shift around you. People will treat you differently. You will attract new opportunities that resonate with your new self. The old patterns of your life will start to fall away, and a new reality will begin to take shape. At this stage, the old self may try to reassert itself. It will bring up old fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs. But this is where your commitment to the new self becomes crucial. You must continue to choose the new identity, even when it feels uncomfortable or when the old self tries to pull you back. The more you stay committed to this new version of yourself, the stronger the new self becomes. The old self begins to fade into the background, losing its power over you. As you continue to live from the place of your new identity, your life begins to align with that new version of you. Your actions, thoughts, and emotions will consistently reflect the person you are becoming. Eventually, the old self will be nothing more than a distant memory, and you'll find yourself fully immersed in the new reality you've created. This shift is not just about external circumstances changing. It's about a deep, internal transformation. The new self is not someone you become in the future. It's already within you. It's simply a matter of choosing to step into it. Once you do, you'll realize that the timeline you've been living on has collapsed, and a new one is unfolding before you. The person you once were is no longer relevant, and the person you are becoming is fully in alignment with the limitless potential of the universe. The old self may have been your comfort zone, but the new self is your truth. It is the version of you who is free to live authentically, who is in harmony with the flow of life, and who is aligned with the infinite possibilities that await. Step into that version of yourself. Trust that it is your time to collapse the old timeline and embrace the new one. The shift is waiting for you. Now that you've begun to understand the profound shift that happens when you move from your old self to your new self, the next step is to align yourself with the new reality you've stepped into. Alignment is not just about thinking differently, it's about fully embodying this new identity in every area of your life. This is where the magic happens, the moment your internal transformation starts to reflect in your external reality. But how do you align with this new self in a way that ensures long-lasting change, that your new reality isn't just an idea but a tangible experience? The first part of this alignment comes through understanding that you are no longer the person you once were. You've already made the internal shift, the identity shift, and now it's time for your external world to catch up. This is where the concept of timeline collapse becomes so powerful. As you step into your new identity, you collapse the old version of your timeline, the one full of patterns, fears, and limitations. And you step into a new timeline that is aligned with the person you have now chosen to become. This is not a passive process. It's an active one. The universe will begin to respond to the energy you're putting out, but it's your responsibility to stay aligned with that energy. Alignment isn't just about visualizing or thinking positive thoughts. It's about taking deliberate, consistent actions that reflect the new version of you. It's about consistently showing up as the person who has already manifested their desires, acting as if you are already living the life you want.